I have to pay council tax, water, electricity, gas, TV license. Ooh, my pocket. Hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I am Liz Charlton and I create fashion, beauty and lifestyle videos. So in today's video I'll be telling you guys a little bit more about the living costs in London, how much it costs to rent, transport, all of that. I'm gonna break it down for you. Hopefully this can help somebody who are looking for move in London or someone who is just looking to move out of their parents' house, venture into London by themselves. Okay, so what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna break it down into 6 topics. So I'm gonna break it down into rent, bills, transportation, food, entertainment and other costs. So let's jump right into the video if this is something that you'd like to see. So let's start off with rent. So renting in London can be very expensive. Everybody know that. It is a very expensive place to live. But my day the rent is based solely on the zone that you live in, and with that being said, this means that in zone 1, which is central London, this is going to be the most expensive part of London to live. The further you move away from London, the further you move away from zone 1, could be zone 3, 4, 5, 6, the cheaper the rent will be. However, this distance from zone 1 will mean that transportation cost is a bit more expensive, but I'll talk about transportation once I get to that. So with the rent, I'll say you can either rent like a room, get a roommate, or you can rent a whole house by yourself. Both of them will come at different costs, and this is something we're gonna tell you about right now. So living with a roommate and live in like a shared property, some of the costs, say you pay, living with a roommate, normally you pay an average of around say £700. Where I lived before, it was relatively cheaper than the normal, only because we know people, okay. So it is relatively cheaper, but on average, just so you guys don't budget too low, then I'll say definitely £700, budget yourself for rent, and you can get a decent enough place to live in. So with the rent, normally when you live in like a shared house, normally well, for me it did include certain type of bills, and when you live and of course when you live by yourself, then you'll have to cover all the bills pretty much. So let's talk about bills since we're on the topic of bills. Some of the extra bills that you need to look for are council tax. This is another extra cost that we'll pay monthly, and this is just so the council can collect like rubbish, clean up the area, things like that. So you'll have to pay an extra cost, and the council tax also depends on the band that you're in. And when I say band, it means like the area, each area or borough, they have like a different band. I'm hoping you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So that's what the council tax will vary from. Anywho, I'm going to leave a link below of where you can check the council tax band just before you decide to like move into a certain area or whatever. You can check that extra cost of what you need to pay. So where I lived before, I'm just gonna do a comparison only because I've been living on my own for 2 years now, and I'm in a different situation from what I was in before. Then I will be able to compare the two just so you guys could have an idea. So where I lived before was relatively cheaper than where I am now, so I'm gonna try and compare the two for you guys. So before, some of the bills that were covered, I'm just gonna give an example. I normally paid say £500 for rent, and with that rent it does include TV license. That's something you have to think about. You have to pay for watch TV in England. So TV license, council tax, the landlord pay council tax, water bill, the landlord pay water bill, which was really nice because we use the water and the landlord paid. So that did nice. And the only thing that we really paid for was electricity and gas, and also internet. So electricity, gas, internet. Well, me never really pay for internet like that, but yeah, so that's some of the costs where the landlord never cover. In other places, however, it might not be the same as my case. I was very fortunate in that sense to find a place where I didn't really have to pay that much on bills because it did already cover. But in this situation now, I have to pay council tax, water, electricity, gas, TV license. My pocket. TV license, and what else? I think that's it, on top of the rent. So yeah, your rent might be a certain amount of money, but make sure you're budgeting for other additional bills as well. And I think those are all the bills that you need to pay extra. So when it comes on to, I'm just going to give you an average of what the bills will look like, and I'm going to do this based off what I was paying before. Okay, so on average, so I did mention that rent can be roughly, for a decent place, I'll say an average of £700 for rent. Electricity, because where I lived before, it wasn't what do you call that, it wasn't energy efficient, and that's something to look at as well. If the home is not energy efficient, you're gonna be paying more on electricity. Where I am now, the electricity is way lower than what I used to pay before. So electricity on average, I'll say around, say 25 to 30 pound. You don't pay for electricity. Water, we didn't pay water, but I'll say water will be roughly at £11 a month. Gas, again, gas was relatively high as well, and I'll say around 25 to 30 pound a month on gas. Council tax depending on the band. You didn't pay council tax at my old place because the landlord, she covered council tax. But normally, I think here that I'm living, a council tax is around 1,500 extra pound a year, just so people them clean up the garbage and all of that. You have to pay a council for all of that. Just that extra cost you have to think about. So when we say London expensive, it's expensive, but you have other perks in other ways. So yeah, that's it for bills. I hope I'm making sense here, guys. I hope I'm helping you, because I really want to help you. If you need help, leave a comment below as well if you have any additional question, but wait till I finish with the video so you can see if I cover what you need to ask. Okay. Let's talk about transportation, since I already mentioned transportation. Transportation here can be very expensive and it can be very cheap. On the expensive side, it depends on the zone that you live in. Remember I said the further you live away from zone 1, if you live in zone 6 and you're traveling to zone 1, you have to buy zone 1 to zone 6 travel card, like a monthly travel card, so you can do daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So that will of course be a higher cost than if you live in zone 1, if you live in zone 2 traveling to zone 1. So that's with transportation, with the travel cost. Here you can take the train, the bus, Uber, all of them local cab there when them have black cab, and also you can cycle, which is $0.00. You just buy a bicycle and you cycle where you want go. Also, London is really good with like having cycle lanes, so I'm guessing it's safe in some areas to like cycle and stuff, but for me personally, I wouldn't do it because it's just not for me. So what transportation cost me previously, I haven't really checked it now since I moved, because I moved 2 months ago, and I am not really working like every single day to travel back and forth to see how much transportation will cost. So I've been saving on transportation, but I'm just going to give you a figure from where I lived previously and how much I normally pay. So before I lived in zone 1 to 2, so my transportation cost was normally £138 and couple pence. That's monthly for transportation, and I normally take the tube to transport. Of course, sometimes when I'm going out, I will take like Uber. And how much time did I take? How much time did I say me take Uber for the month? It all depends on the type, on which month it is or what may I do. Yeah, it all depends. But on average, I'll say I probably take Uber around 2 to 3 times a month, and that can be like an additional cost on top of travel. But this all depends on you, whether or not you live in zone 1 or zone 6 or wherever you live. Then that is something that you should look at, and then the transportation cost will be a little bit less for you. However, I will ensure to leave the TFL website down below. That way you can check like the zones and the transportation costs, so it will be able to you guys could get an understanding of exactly what I'm talking about, see some figures. That way if you're looking to come here, then you will be able to budget for this properly. So food here, it all depends on the supermarket that you shop, then the food price will vary. For me, because I'm lazy sometimes, I normally shop at Sainsbury's, and Sainsbury's is not the cheapest of the cheap. Sometimes you get like the stuff, they are a bit more expensive, to be honest with you, Sainsbury's. So and in comparison to Sainsbury's, if I do shop at like another supermarket, Lidl, which is one of the cheapest supermarkets, I do spend like half the money that I would spend at Sainsbury's. But as I mentioned, Sainsbury's just they very close to me, like 1 minute back on Sainsbury's. That's why I go to Sainsbury's, but I'm gonna try and stop that and just go down a little go buy me some of them and come back, save my coins. But anyways, food, how much would I say? So in October I checked my food costs. Let me see if I can tell you guys, one sec. So in October, my food costs come up to around 160 something pound. I don't know. So it could be because I am moved into a new property. So you know, the first month when you're food shopping, you kind of go overboard and you need to spend a little bit more than what you spent before. So yeah. But the food price, it can vary for even, okay, for example, that was 100 and something pound. I went food shopping to Lidl yesterday and I bought a bunch of stuff, and that come up to like 12 pounds something. So as I mentioned before, grocery is solely depend on where you eat or where you shop. But if you are on a budget, I'll definitely suggest supermarkets like Lidl and Aldi to do your grocery shopping. Okay, so I talk about rent, I talk about bills, I talk about food, I talk about travel. So now I'm just gonna jump into entertainment. So living here, it can be really fun and it can be really boring, depending on who you hang around with. But entertainment, it can be very expensive and it can cost you nothing. Okay. It all depends on you, like what's your vibe, then yeah. So I'll say going out because that's what I normally do. So going like a local fancy restaurant because you want just where you want to eat something nice or whatever, that a night would have probably cost you an average of around say 60 to 100 pounds, depending on the restaurant that you're going. On the cheaper scale of things, if you go into like say like a pub or something like that, which is like a bar here, a pub which is like a bar in, yeah, it's the same as like a bar. I don't know how much for beer because I'm not drink beer, but for like a glass of wine, normally I think you pay maybe £9, £10 for like a glass of wine. Also a bottle of wine can cost you about £6, so you get what me I say with the price, because you get a glass for £9 when you can buy a whole bottle for about £6 something, depending on the type of wine where you drink. So yeah, so that's the more expensive side of going out, entertainment. We not really go clubbing right now, but if you go on clubbing, that's another price to go clubbing, because then you have to think about, well, for me, I normally take like Uber when I'm going out, Uber there, Uber back, only because if I'm gonna wear heels, I'm not gonna be taking the train. Also, going out can be very cheap when it comes on to entertainment and fun. You can go to the cinema, which tickets are normally around, I have like a cinema app, so I get discount on the cinema, so I normally pay around £5, £6 for like a cinema ticket. But normally I think maybe £10, £12. I don't want to assume anything, Again, I'll try and leave a link below. I'll try and leave the cost below of what that will cost, just so you have an idea. Also, we have really lovely museums here, and they are completely free. So if that's something that you're into, you can take a day out, you can go them, go have a look. We also have very lovely scenery here, so you can go sightseeing. That's something that's relatively free as well. We also have very nice parks in each area, so you can go to your local park or go to one of the other bigger park them if that's something that you want to do. So that's when I said entertainment and fun is definitely what you call entertainment and fun. What is entertainment and fun to you, then that will determine the cost. But if you're looking to like go out maybe like a 1 or a 2 night, then I'll say roughly around 60 to 100 pound a night, just to have some fun in this London town. So now that I've discussed entertainment and fun, it's just one last topic to discuss, and that is like other costs that you should look out for. And with this being said, I'm talking about like phone bills. This can be, so if you already have a phone, then you can get a pay-as-you-go SIM card, or you can do a SIM only contract, and that should cost you anywhere between 10 to 20 pounds. However, if you have a contracted phone, that should cost you maybe around 50 something pound to around, how much would I say? So about 50 something pound to around say 70 pound. Again, it depends on the type of phone where you get. But if you already have a phone and it's not something that you need, definitely pay as you go. SIM card is relatively cheaper and is a win-win for your pocket. Okay, so that's it for like the phone with the extra cost. Another monthly cost that you can look out for is if you have like monthly subscription, if you have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, Apple Play, like stuff like that will cost you a little bit more extra money. For me, I don't really have any subscription like that. I only have like my music, and that is Spotify. I pay $9.99 a month. That is the only one I have. Everything else I use people's account. That's another way to save as well. If your friend have a Netflix account, use a Netflix account, save your coins. If them have like a Prime account, use the Prime account, save your coins. But don't tell them to meet it as if you do that. Just do it like finesse them in the most decent way possible. Okay, what else? So another cost that you might spend on, I'm into fashion, so I buy clothes. Normally I spend on clothes monthly, so that's something way that probably needs to think about as well. If you need to buy clothes, London is cold, so when we live back in Jamaica, I could have just wear the same clothes them all year round. This is not the case. It's cold, so you have to buy winter clothes, summer clothes, fall clothes, all type of clothes, and then you don't like them clothes anymore because you don't buy good quality, you buy them cheap. Then you have to think about buying more winter clothes, summer clothes, and they end up with 10 winter jackets and all of them rip up. So just buy one good one and save your money for the rest of a good like 3, 4, 5 years. I learned the hard way. So take it from me, if you're looking to do shopping, just buy quality stuff. Save up, buy quality stuff than buying quantity and having to buy over and over and over again. You get what I mean? Because if you say, for instance, you buy one jacket and one jacket costs you £20, and you buy another jacket and the other jacket that costs you £150, you ever come back and buy how much of this jacket because you never want to save and buy the one jacket? Yeah, think about it. So that's it for bills, travel costs. I'm just going to give you an idea, a rundown. I really want to make this helpful as possible. I'm going to give you a rundown of how much it will approximately cost to live in London each for a month. I'm going to use which character should I use? So I'm going to use a lady, Sandra. So Sandra, she moved from Jamaica. I'm Jamaican, by the way. She moved from Jamaica, come to London, and she want to know how much it will cost to live here each month. So I'm just going to give like a rundown. So Sandra rent would have cost £650. And for rent, I forgot to mention this, guys. Normally the sites here to look at if you're looking to rent a place is ZOOPLA. RIGHTMOVE. They're really good sites, and if you're looking for like a shared property, then SPAREROOM is a really good one to look at as well. So back to Sandra. So Sandra, she rent a place, £650, really nice place in London, and she live like in a zone 2, 1 to 2, perfect, great price, sweet. Sandra happy. She pay £11 per water bill, because that's the average that will cost. So she live in one property with about say 3-4 people, or say 2 people, she and somebody else live. Then she'll go split her bill, and then her water will probably come up to like £11. Cool. So electricity, she probably pay around £25 because our home the energy efficient, so she will pay £25 per electricity each month. And also for gas, she'll go pay roughly £21 per gas, because again, not energy efficient, so she's gonna be paying more than a home that is energy efficient. So on food, where Sandra shop, she don't really shop a little or whatever. Every supermarket, she probably pay around £100 on food. I'm gonna try and leave the cost here just so you guys can see. £100 on food monthly. Her internet bill, she will pay £11 on her internet bill, because she try and source the cheapest one as possible to try and get her internet. And again, she live with somebody else, so that bill will be split between everybody will live in the household. Phone bill, Sandra fancy. She could bother, she never want to use her phone because she move a good England now. She want a new phone, so she could take out a contract, and her phone bill cost her £60 a month. Don't follow Sandra. Use your phone when you have here. Use your phone when you have. Don't follow her, because she could have really use her phone when she have. And for entertainment and fun, she's not really a boring person, so she go out like one restaurant a month, and then she'll go to the cinema and then hang out with the park with her friends, or she just meet, because she just come here, so she meet 2 friends and she'll go out, enjoy her life, and she just spend roughly £100 on entertainment and fun monthly. So on travel, as I mentioned, she lived in zone 1 to 2. She traveled back and forth, so she will pay £138.70 on traveling. I'm gonna leave all the costs here just so you can see a rundown of the total price it costs Sandra to live in London for the month. And the cost here, it doesn't include subscription or any other cost that I did mention previously. And yeah, so that is a whole nother budgeting as well, but this is like spending, like things that you must like budget for pretty much. So let me just tell you like the total, and the total will be around, I have like the total here, I did calculate it for you guys, around £1,116.70, just so Sandra can live comfortably in London and survive pretty much. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful in some way for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share this video just so it can help somebody else who is looking to move to London, and also subscribe to my channel if you like videos like this, and also leave a comment below what other video would you like me to do about London, or any other type of video as well. As I mentioned, I do fashion, beauty and lifestyle video, so leave a comment below and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.